Hi friends, my name is Lane. I am a merch designer and illustrator, and today we're going to jump right into the video. So back in 2020, I drew these soup cats to make into a sticker sheet. I really liked how they turned out at the time, but then I never did anything with them past like the beginning of 2021. So I decided to revisit this and redraw some of the cats / maybe change them around a little. My absolute favorite out of the original bunch was the tomato soup cat, so I started with that one because I knew I wanted to bring that over to this new set. Similarly to the original, I included some basil in this for a pop of contrasting color, as well as the grilled cheese. Then I knew I wanted to do the baked potato soup as well, because that was also one of my favorites of the original. I decided to make this version really fluffy, give them a dollop of sour cream, and I wanted to add little side details on all of them. So for this, that is the cut potatoes. Overall, a big focus of this one was the shape language. The other was not too distinct. This with the tail and the sour cream dollop, I think is a bit more strong in that sense. Then up next, I decided to redraw the chicken noodle soup cat because obviously that's one of the most iconic soup flavors. I couldn't just skip it. Since this soup has, noodles that are a bit string-like, I decided to make this cat a little more playful, similarly to the last one, with the little noodles on its head and face and paw. I also brought back over the tissue box since obviously chicken noodle soup is something you often eat when you're sick, so it just made sense. I decided to bring that over to this version as well. My original drawing was very, very yellow, a bit closer to the actual soup color, but with these four, I wanted to make them a little bit more realistic as far as their colors go. I mean, I know the tomato one is pushing it a little bit, but with this one, I made it kind of more like an orange-yellow cat. Now with the original designs, the three that I had left to consider were ramen, wonton soup, and I don't even remember the other one. I think it was maybe supposed to be chili. But when thinking of what cat designs actually made sense in reality with these different soups, I wasn't in love with any of the three options. They were also all just very warm and orange, so I decided to do a totally different cat than I've done before, and that is miso soup. Since miso soup has kind of layers of brown when you look at the actual liquid, I decided to make this cat a dark Siamese cat. You can see here I very much struggled trying to find a good bowl color. I wanted one that stood out from the other four but didn't stand out in like a bad way. I ended up going with this kind of dark pink wine red. And we were done with the sketches. Now into the actual drawing. We have the tomato starting first. Since the tomato design was my favorite out of both sets, I decided to start with that one because I had a really clear vision for what I wanted this one to look like. I decided to keep what I did in the last sticker sheet and make the grilled cheese a little animal. I thought a bunny was maybe a bit too graphic, so I swapped it out with a fish. You can see here I did play around with what I wanted the eyes to look like, but I did end up going with my standard just little dot eyes. I'm always very much torn on which way I want to lean as far as that part of my style goes, but I guess there really is no wrong answer as far as style goes, which makes it more challenging. Coloring this one was so fun with the different orange layers and putting the cream on top of the red. Tomato soup is, I think, my favorite soup of all time. Please let me know in the comments what your favorite soup is, in general, to eat. I think recently Good Mythical Morning did a video where they tried, I think, every Campbell's soup flavor or something like that, and oh my god, there are so many more soup flavors than I thought there were. Like cream of asparagus, cream of celery? Anyways, shading this one was also very fun. I love shading sort of dark, deep reds, and especially shading the little sandwich. You absolutely cannot eat tomato soup without a grilled cheese. That is a hill I will die on. And then of course, adding the little fur is always so fun. I just really, really love how this one turned out. It's like my favorite thing I've drawn maybe so far this year. But we are nearing the end of the process of this one. Ignore my cat literally scratching on her post right now. And here's the final for Tomato Soup Cat. Up next, we are working on the Potato Soup Cat. This one was also so fun to draw. It's probably my second favorite. I love how squishy it is. I decided to make this bowl kind of textured like a hand spun clay bowl. As far as like favorite soups go, potato soup is so underrated to me. Like, it's an underdog. It is also one of my favorite soups, and I don't think people like appreciate it, talk about it enough. I decided to make this cat a little more liquidy looking with the tail and sort of the soup spilling over the edge a little bit. I think that the sort of pinks and a little bit of red in the bacon really goes with and fits the cream of the cat really well. Like, just those colors together make me really happy to look at. But you can't have potato soup without cheese, so I made sure to add that on top, as well as the little like bacon bits. And a little blush on this one, of course, since the pink just fits so well. Ever since I remember starting this style, I think in 2020, I have been doing the eyes kind of just like plain black dots. But recently I've been experimenting with putting like little tiny specks of color in there just to add a bit more life. Because usually when you're drawing, at least in realism, you want that kind of, well, the color, but also like that white pop in there to sort of make it seem like the subject isn't soulless, I guess. Obviously, with small black eyes, that is not an issue, but I've been wanting to add color detail to my characters in a way I can't do with just the plain black dots, so I've been doing that recently. Like here with a little bit of brown in the eyes, I think it adds a nice little touch. Anyways, we are near the end of this one, so here is the final potato soup cat. Now, I don't know how this happened again, but my iPad simply refused to save the speed paints for the next two pieces. I know for a fact I hit record, so I don't really know what happened. So I had to pull from my Procreate time-lapse with these two. I am so sorry about that. Anyways, up next we are working on the chicken noodle cat. To give this one a little bit of color contrast, I decided to add like some kind of herb in the side of the bowl. I think that's rosemary. But I just wanted this one to be a playful little guy. I made sure the colors were a little more close to what you might see on an actual cat, although it still probably skews a little bit more like yellow. But I added this green accent in the bowl, as well as you'll see here in the tissues, just to add that color contrast, same with the herb rosemary. Since this is chicken noodle soup, I did add like little pale pinkish pieces to sort of be the chicken. And then I had to make this guy a tabby cat since that fit the visual of the noodles. The shading on this one was very fun, of course. Personally, this is probably an unpopular opinion. I am not a big chicken noodle soup fan. In fact, I don't even know the last time I had it, other than maybe when I was a literal child. I don't know what it is, but like the chicken pieces in there, I don't really like. I do love ramen though, like that is one of my favorite things ever. So you would think that I would also like this. There can't be that much of a difference. And yet I will go for ramen over chicken noodle soup literally any day. I also prefer the thin, like spaghetti-like noodles over the sort of thicker, twisty ones that you see here that sometimes people use for chicken noodle soup. But yeah, we are at the end of this one as well, so here is the final chicken noodle soup cat. Love him. And the last design of the four that I'll be doing today is a miso soup cat. I've actually never had miso soup before, but for those of you who don't know what it is a Japanese soup. It has a stock with, of course, miso paste in there, and it usually has things like tofu and green onions. Since it is a Japanese soup, I made sure to include the chopsticks as well as the soup spoon that you would usually use to eat it. Honestly, coloring and shading all of these was so fun. I usually struggle with cats. You wouldn't think that would be the case because I draw dogs just fine, and you know, they're kind of similar, but something about cats, maybe because I've been around them my whole life and they're my favorite animal, I struggle to translate them to art sometimes. And it's silly because cats were the first animal I even started drawing because I was a Warrior Cats fan in elementary school. So I have plenty of experience with them. I don't know what it is, but with these four, I just really had a good time. I love how they all turned out. I did some things different with these four that I normally don't do with my style of cats, like the ear tufts and the eye color. Anyways, miso soup is done. Here are all of them together. I hope you guys like these as much as I do. Let me know what your favorite of the 4 is down in the comments. If there are any soups you would like to see me do for part 2, please let me know that as well. At some point in the next couple of months, I will be making sandwich dogs to go with these guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.